Hello, Mysterious Huntsman fans, and welcome back. You are listening to Episode 3 of the Mysterious Huntsman podcast. Tonight, I'm excited because we have on a guest that has an amazing account of things that have been happening to him in the great state of Tennessee. And this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And we're talking about Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, or Yeti, the Bunyip, the couscous now, the old man of the woods. It is internationally a huge phenomenon. So sit back and let's get started. All right, hey Philip, welcome to the Mysterious Huntsman podcast. How are you doing, man?
Good, Paul. How you doing?
I am doing well, and I'm glad you could take the time to talk to me tonight. We talked earlier, and you have some amazing stories, and I think everyone needs to hear it. And you know, like I said, I know you're not going to go into where this is or too many specifics about it, but you have amazing accounts, and you have several of them, which is even better. Yeah. So, man, yeah. I'm going to let you just kickstart it. What you got?
Okay. All right. Well, it's all started with a camping trip, and it's a place that I had been camping for 20 plus years and never had anything out of the ordinary happen until one night, about 6 years ago, the girls smelled a foul smell, and then the next day we had a rock thrown at us, and then the next morning we had a vocalization, a loud scream at us from real close by. So, but I never seen anything. This was all just stuff that we couldn't see, So when I got home, I got on the internet and got to looking into the counties where I was at, and found out that there had been a lot of sightings, and started researching, the creature more, and found out, a lot of their habits and some of the things to look for as far as, them, being present. So I did, started doing that. And then once I started looking into it and, watching out for stuff, I started, realizing that they were there. I never had a sighting at this point. I hadn't had a sighting that was visual enough to where I could tell definition of of their features and stuff. All I could see was silhouettes against the lake and the full moon and everything. It was no question what you were looking at. You just couldn't see any definition. So, we kept going out there, and then I just got obsessed with going out here at this place. And then I just hopped up on another place. It's about 20 miles away. A guy's been on the property since he was 7 years old. He's close to 50, and he's got a pod of them on his property. It's probably maybe 30 or 40 strong on 120 acres, and it is as active as you could imagine out there. And that's where I had my first sighting. I could actually see steam coming out of his nose, and I seen the creature from 20 foot away standing right in front of me in a barn. And then that's when I really just, was overwhelmed, and just so many things went through my head. What in the hell? What is this? And I couldn't, the size of it, overwhelmed me. Just every aspect of it, it just took over. I really thought I was going to have, psychological, help with getting back to my normal frame of mind, because it really just took my mind over. So anyways, I kept going back to this place, and I had the opportunity to move close by this square 4 or 5 mile area where this, at this time, not knowing that it is a really, really, really strong hot spot for this state. So when I move out there, next thing I know, it's just, they're everywhere. They're in my backyard. They're at my window. They're everywhere. And it was too much. So I moved away from there, but I still go back out there to do, my research and stuff. But the one place that the other place, I haven't been back there. I won't have seen it in about 2 years, but I've got to go into this place so much that I think the creatures there are familiar with me. And I'm seeing the same ones over and over again, and learning some of the individuals' habits. And just, it's a different type of encounter. It's not, I've never got any kind of aggression out of them, a growl. I've had I've had a couple walnuts and a rock thrown at me, and the one vocalization. But as far as of having the fear, of feeling, that I was in danger, I never had that out there.
Right.
And I spent, when I was living out there, I heard so many stories about these government, kill teams. And, I didn't really, I wasn't really, I didn't know how believable it was, until, now I know for a fact that they exist. I see them in action. And I think at this place where I'm going, I'm really, really skeptical about anybody knowing about it. And I'm trying to suppress what's going on out there as much as I can because, I really honestly think that these creatures out here in this certain area, I think that they've overpopulated because there are a bunch of them out there. I think it's overpopulated. I think the government has realized it. I think there's been a lot of nuisance reports about them. And I think they're being monitored by the government right now because I have seen solid evidence of it. And I'm kind of, in fear that something's going to happen to them. So I just, got to where I don't tell anybody about it.
Right.
So I go out there, about once a month, and I stay all night long by myself. And they never bothered me. They every time they know when I get there, they come running to the edge of the woods when I get there. They follow me all the way back to my camp within 20 yards, parallel me all the way back there. If I have to go to my truck, one follows me. If I go get firewood, the same one follows me every time. It's just, I think it's got to where they are familiar with me and they're absolutely sure that I'm not a threat to them, So I think they've, adapted to my, my presence. So anyways, that's about the size of it. That's my, most of my encounter, really, to be honest with you.
Right. And we talked the other night, and
right.
You had mentioned the military once before, and
yeah.
And you said you had seen drones out there. Is that right?
Yeah. The first time I seen the drones I only seen one, and there was two guys in black tactical gear in my backyard with a drone, and they had ran two creatures up in my. I had a big tree in my backyard, and I seen the guys first. And then I seen the drone, and I noticed the tree swaying. And then when I looked up in the tree, I could see the creatures in the tree, and they had run these two creatures up in a tree. But the creatures outsmarted them and went to the tallest branch they could get, and they rode that branch down to another tree in the yard next to me and come down that other tree. And they got in a little they got in a little thicket right beside my bedroom window, and they stayed in that thicket all night long. They wouldn't budge. And I fed these creatures from my window in my bedroom. Yeah. So, and that's when I realized that there is because I heard the most massive gunfire in these woods that night. I've never heard gunfire like that except for military, except for in a war. This was automatic gunfire, and it was a automatic shotgun, that was in full tilt, and they were laying down fire for a solid 30 minutes, and I know at the end of all this, I heard a creature scream. I heard one scream.
Right. Now,
so, okay.
I have to ask, do you live near possibly a shooting range or a military base or anything like that?
No, sir.
So you've checked out the area pretty well.
Yeah, I make sure there wasn't any kind of movements as far as there was nothing. There was no explanation whatsoever that could have been other than what it was. Nothing. Because it was out in a rural area. There's nobody out there. And this was not practice. This was not target practice. This was solid laying down automatic fire for a solid 30 minutes, nonstop. And you could tell the difference between the shotgun and the automatic machine gun. Did you hear that? What woke me up was the shotgun, because I thought it was somebody knocking on my door. So when I opened my bedroom window to look to see who was knocking on my door, I seen the one guy standing on my deck, and then the other guy standing on the ground below the deck. And that's when I heard the gunfire in the woods. And then I realized it wasn't somebody knocking on my door. Well, I just whispered to the guy. I said, "Please tell me you're law enforcement." And he turned around and he seen me, and he said, "Yeah, close that window." That's all he said to me. He didn't show any kind of credentials. He was dressed in solid black, and I could barely see him. And it was not Army. It was not. I don't know what branch or who they were with, but they were there with all the right equipment, to wipe out, something like do some harm, something like that. That was their whole motive, I think. I think they were using the drones to track them with, and I honestly believe that. But that was the first time I seen the drone. But 2 weeks ago, last time I was out there were two drones out there. There was one that stayed right above me, and it hovered above me all night long. It never went anywhere. And the other one stayed on the other side of the lake, and it hovered. And all it did was patrol the bank. And at the end, about every 10 minutes, there was the brightest light I've ever seen in my life. It would come on, and it would light the whole woods and the whole lake and everything up. You could see everything. And it would stay on for about 30 minutes, and it would go out. But by this time, I got so spooked.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go check it out to see where the light was coming from. I got some strange lights on video.
Well, I was going to ask you. Yeah, I was going to ask you. Was the light coming from the drone, or was it coming from somewhere else?
Most definitely. Well, the reason I think I know that for a fact is because the drone that I seen in my backyard was round, and it had 3 different color lights on it: yellow, red, and green. Well, the drones that I seen out there 2 weeks ago were the same type of drones, same lights, same size, same everything, but there were two of them instead, this time. And like I said, that light, man, that light. I've been around some bright stuff, but this was almost, extraterrestrial. It was so bright. It was bright. And one thing I noticed about the drones, you can't hear them. They were completely silent. I could not hear them.
Yeah, and that's pretty odd because most commercial drones,
you can hear them. Yeah, I know.
You can hear them. They make an odd. It sounds like a weed eater.
Completely silent. No, Paul, these were completely silent. You heard nothing. And when it stopped and hovered, there was no out of pocket motion. As far as maybe kind of balancing a little bit or hovering one way or the other.
Yeah.
That sucker, it hovered completely still. And these red lights, when we ever hook up, I'll show you these videos I got of these lights. Man, I don't know what they are, but it's two red lights side by side each other, and they move with lightning speed. And there's 4 little white lights that surround it all and stay with it all the time. But I got video of it, and I've been seeing. Yeah, this just started happening out there. The orbs and the lights and all this, man. This just started happening. I'm still soaking this in, because I come about all this out there, researching the Sasquatch.
Right, and so, I'll be interested in seeing the video, as well.
I'll show you.
But I want to, if you don't mind, I want to take you back to some of your encounters where you maybe heard it, and what kind of sounds did you hear, or what kind of noises were they making? Well,
the first time that I got vocalized, it was like a loud scream, just really, really guttural and deep, though. And it was kind of brief. It wasn't a loud, ongoing howl. It was just it was like a pissed off yell. That's the expression that I sensed off of this vocalization. Was like. I think what it did was it was coming across the road, towards us, and it seen us, and it got pissed, and seen us, and it yelled at us and turned around and went back. There's a tunnel there at the end of this cove, and I think what they do is, and there's a swamp on the other side of the road, and then it goes up towards the TVA power lines. Well, I think what they were doing is they're using that tunnel to cross the road and go under the road, so there'll be less chance of being seen. So I think they used that tunnel, and he came out from that tunnel, and boom, there we was, and it pissed him off. That's the way I took it. But, that was just a yell.
Do you know if there are any caves in the area?
Excuse me?
Do you know if there are any caves in the area?
I haven't seen any, Paul, I don't think, but I don't. It's around the lakes. It's a possibility there's caves there. It'd have to be one. There's not much, there's not no mountains or foothills or nothing. It's all pretty flat land close to the lake,
Okay.
I mean, if there is, there'd be one going down straight down on the ground, and it wouldn't be very deep because you'd be in the water table, being that close to the lake. But I haven't seen any caves put that way.
Okay. And as far
I have, I think these certain ones, I think they just sleep out on the ground. You know, I found a lot of tree structures. You know, like the teepee huts and stuff. You know, I found there's tons of that out there.
Did you happen to get any pictures of those?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And what about when you actually saw one? You said you mentioned earlier that you saw steam coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I went to my buddies, and they live on a big piece of property, and they have a main gate, you know, that you have to call previously before you get there to let you in. And they got 4 kids. They usually send one of their kids up there to open the gate. Well, they got a son, he's 10, and they sent him up there. And just a couple minutes later, he comes flying back down the driveway, white as a sheet, man. He said, "Philip, please come up here and go with me to open this gate." He said, "Something threw a rock at me, and it growled at me out of the woods." Well, I instantly knew what was going on, but I didn't say anything to him. You know, I didn't want to spook him. He's a kid. So I walk up there with him, and we get up there, and we open the gate, and we start walking down the driveway back towards the house, and I could hear something walking parallel to me about 15 yards in the woods, you know. I could hear him taking every step I took just about, you know, and then when I would slow down, he would slow down. Well, when I realized, you know, something was, you know, there with me, I didn't know what it was, it kind of spooked me. So I told the little boy, I said, you know, we'll call him Parker. I said, "Parker, we're going to take off running, okay? I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I know that's what I want to do right now." So we took off running. And at the end of the driveway, there's a fork. At the end of the driveway, one goes to the house, and the other one goes up and towards the woods. When we got to the fork, we cut right to go to the house, and it cut left to go up into the woods. And when it did, I've never heard another vocalization like it on recordings. But it would be hard for me. It's always hard for me to mimic it. But it was like an elephant. And at the end, it went boo, boo, like a hoot owl, but like a real loud, sick hoot owl. You know, you could tell it wasn't you could tell it was something big trying to, you know, copy a hoot owl and not being very good at it. And then, you know, he ran up in the woods. So at this point in time, you know, I'm not aware that they're there. So we go back down to the house, and we get a flashlight, and I said, "Hey, Parker, come on, let's go up here to the woods. Let's check this out." So we're up there standing at the edge of the woods, and the fence line was shining back in the woods, and I could see stuff. I could see something was back in there. I could hear it. I could see it, you know, going, you know, real quick flashes. I could see it. And Parker's dad walked up behind me and said, "What y'all doing?" You know, it kind of spooked us real bad, you know. And I said, I heard something back there. I thought it might be a raccoon or something. And just abruptly, he said, "You seen a Sasquatch, didn't you?" And I said, "What?" I looked at his thing. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I got 120 acres here." He said, "And they're thick." He said, "I've been experiencing since I was 7 years old." He said, "They're here, and there's plenty of them." So this just baffled me, you know. So here I am, you know, I'm working out of town in the weeks. I'm coming home on the weekends. When I come home on the weekends, I'm going to his place and spending the weekend so I can experience all this, you know. And I got a picture of a juvenile in a tree one day with a mother sitting at the base of the tree, and didn't even know I got the picture because I was taking a picture of a car and didn't realize I'd caught them in the picture until later. But anyways, he said, "You want to see a big one?" I said, "What do you mean?" You know, he said, "There's a huge one that sleeps in the barn in the daytime, but he's not roaming at night. But during the day, you catch him in the barn." I said, "How big is he?" And he's anywhere from 9.5 feet tall, close to 10 feet tall, and probably around 800 pounds. So, oh my gosh, you know, I mean, I just can't fathom something that big, you know, because at this point in time, apparently I've seen juveniles, you know, smaller ones. Well, so I went up to the barn he was telling me about, you know, and I walked up to the very front door of it, and I just stood there for a minute. And when I took 2 steps into the barn, something threw a rock at me from the loft. Well, I took 2 more steps. The second step I took, he jumped out of the hayloft and landed on the ground about 10 foot in front of me and just stood there, breathing real hard. and just staring a hole through me. I mean, it just felt like he was sucking my soul out, man. I mean, it's like I couldn't budge. I was petrified.
So you were only 10 feet away from him?
Yeah, I was 15 at the most. 15 at the most.
But
half the length.
You were close enough where you got an incredible look at him, right?
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah, I could see the gnarliness in between his teeth, and I could see every single detail there is, man. And he stood there for a good 15 seconds, before he bailed out the back of the barn. Yeah, he let me get a hell of a look. Yeah, more than I wanted to see. Trust me, I wish it had never happened. I wish I had never seen one.
Well, what can you? Yeah, and I've heard that before. People want to see one until they see one.
Yeah.
But I mean, what can you tell me? What can you tell me about his face? I'd love to hear detailed on his facial features.
Well,
I mean, did he look like Did he look like a man? Did he look more of a primate?
He looked more like a man. He looked more like a man, except for his nose. His nose was, like a gorilla's nose, a little flat, But his eyes were spaced apart, and his eyes were spaced more appropriately, like a human than a chimp or a gorilla or whatever. He had more of a neck. His neck wasn't as short, I mean, it was short, but I mean the other types that I see out here at the lake, they got no neck. I mean, it's like a bump on top of their shoulders, and they're as wide as they are tall. They're just massive. But this one here was more. He was more thinner, like a football player. Like you could just tell. I mean, because he just looked like a. I mean, because the hairline was it wasn't real thick. You could see you could see his body mass and the tone of his muscles straight through the hair because it was so thin. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell what his muscular definition was, because his hair didn't really hide much of it, and he didn't have any hair on his face, and mostly down his and not a whole lot on his chin and his jaw. It wasn't as thick as it was on top of his head and the sides, and his back was a little thicker, and the back caps of his legs was a little thicker, and a little bit on top of his foot was a little thicker, but. Other than that, he really wasn't. I mean, a hairy creature's out. The first ones I encountered. The ones out here at the lake, I've seen three different colors out there: cinnamon, blonde, and black. But these particular ones at my friend's farm, they're a cinnamon color, and I've never seen but one color out there. This color, and they're shaped different. You could tell totally that these creatures got different, genes than, I've been around enough of them in the past 6 years because I've really intently got into this. I mean, I have taken every opportunity that comes about, man, to learn more about them and to go be on hand. I mean, I'll get right down. I go out there at night by myself with nothing, no guns, no nothing, man. I don't take food. I don't take no weapons. I don't take no survey. I don't take any kind of surveying equipment, nothing. I take nothing. I don't take a bath. I sleep on the ground. I don't take anything. I get as primitive as I can because I guess my theory on that is I'm trying to get into their, the way they do it,
Right.
I mean, that was my theory, But I guess I just been going out there so much, and they got so familiar with me. I mean, it just came natural to them to see me. I was out there so much,
Yeah, and I told you earlier, or at least the other night, I'm kind of familiar with the area, and just doing research on just knowing what I know about the area. Sightings go back at least 100 years, and it's pretty.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
it's pretty incredible. There's even on the lake there have been boaters that have been close to the banks, and they get rocks thrown at them continuously, and I mean with accurate precision. It's like one guy told me that if he wanted to hit me with a rock or whatever it is, whatever is throwing a rock at me, if he wanted to hit me, he could hit me. They're just trying to scare me off, and but they're that whole area has an incredible past.
Well, I think they're a little bit leaning on me. The first time I had something thrown at me out there, my girlfriend drank a beer and she threw the can on the ground and she threw the can at the ground, man. I rocked and flying out of the woods and hit that can. And that's the first time I had something thrown at me out there. But the second time I had something thrown at me out there, we found a bunch of dead animals out there. Goats, pigs, deer. I mean, you name it. It was out there dead. And just mutilated bodies, man. The legs were broke. The guts were eat out of, and the rest was just laying there. Up to 30 animals within a 150, 200-yard stretch of bank, scattered everywhere. Well, I went down to the end to look at a particular, look at something, and when I got to it, something threw a rock at me and beat me right in the middle of the chest with it. So I immediately turned around and started to walk away, and when I did, he threw another one, hit me in the back with it. So I just walked my way. And then the last time I was there, I think it was a juvenile had done it because he, instead of throwing a rock at the wall, and it beat me right between the eyes with it. So I think he was just playing with me. I mean, I've had these creatures, man, literally come almost up to my campfire, within 10 feet of my campfire, and just stand there. 7 or 8 of them. I'll be surrounded by them, and they'll just be standing there. I mean, just looking at you. And they'll another thing they'll do is I think they're fascinated with fire, because purposely I'll go look for firewood, and I'll get it blazing real big, and then go look for firewood, and I'll stop and stand back and watch. And 4 or 5 of them will come up out of the woods, man. They'll grab a stick and they'll start poking in my fire. I didn't figure that out until about 2 months ago. Every time I walk away from my fire, I'd look back, and I'd see these antlers just flying up in the air, and I'm like, what's making my fire do that, So I creeped back up, and that's when I figured out they were, when I would leave to go get firewood, they would creep up to my fire, and they would play in my fire. And I would notice, dogs would be, they would be scattered about, when I get back. But yeah, I think they're fascinated with fire.
Well, now, have you attempted to, since, you said you were this close to them, have you attempted to try and communicate or talk, or have you heard them attempt?
Yeah, actually I have. And I think my best results is I've used hand language, just come here or whatever. But I had one night I had a little fishing chair, it's like a little stool. And, it's cold out there. I'll build a big fire, and I'll just, look around and tell them, come on, y'all get warm, and I'll, just talk to them like I'm talking to my friend, and you can hear them, and they're creeping right up to me, You can hear the branches snapping and everything. They'll get right up just inside the woods where I can see them. And, the fire's got their face lit up, and they'll just stand there, man. But anyways, I took this stool, and I set it a pretty good distance away from the fire. And I patted it, and I said, hey, man, you sit over and say, you sound. And there was one particular one standing pretty close that I was, referring to. And I was looking straight at him when I said this. I said, and I patted the seat. I said, you can sit right here. Well, I went over and sit back down, on the other side of the fire. And I kept watching that stool. Well, he walked up another tree. Walked up next to another tree. And he stooped down, and he leaned out with his foot. And he hooked that stool, and he pulled it to him behind that tree. And he sit down behind that tree, and when he did, he drove it clean in the ground like he never got it out of the ground. Yeah, he just jammed it in the mud, man. Just freaking, it disappeared. But, yeah, so they get close, man, real close. Like I said, man, I think they really got familiar with me. There's one particular one out there. I think he's an older one because he's the only one I've seen this color. He's blonde, and he follows me everywhere I go. Once I get there and he figures out I'm there, he'll meet me right at the gate. And then when I get all my stuff together, I'll take the trail to my campsite, and he'll parallel me right in the woods, not rushing me, walking as fast as me. If I got to go get wood, I got to use the bathroom, I got to go back to my truck, anything, he escorts me every step of the way. And he's been doing that for about 2 years. Yeah.
And have you taken... And I know you said you've had your family out there camping, but have you taken anyone else out there that has seen what you've seen? Yeah. I've taken 3 people out there, and all 3 of them, had the same results for all 3. My one buddy that had the best results, he just passed away this week, man. But I'm sorry to hear that.
I got to take him out there and blow his mind before he left. But yeah, he was a gas. He couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it. I didn't realize it. I'm gonna tell you. Paul, I'm taking little baby kids out there. My girl, 2 girls, and my dogs out there. And I'm just freaking beefing the woods up like they're mine. I'm not. I'm totally unaware, man, what's going on when all this first started, you know? But like I said, I've never got the feeling out there that I was in danger. As a matter of fact, totally the opposite. I get an overwhelming feeling, man, if something was to ever try to bother me out here, that I got a group of some big boys around me that would probably take care of it. Seriously. I really believe that. But I broke both of my legs back last year, and I walk with a cane. I'm about half crippled. And I was out there one night, and I guess they, noticed that I was struggling about walking. I could tell. And I was trying to get this. There was a big fence post in the ground, and I was trying to get out of the ground, and it was stuck like Chuck. It wasn't no getting out. So I just left it, and I walked back to my truck to get something. I come back, it was laying by the fire, man. It was one of them, I guess, went over and pulled it out of the ground and went and laid it by the fire. Laid it right beside the rocks there at the fire. Yeah. So I think he realized what I was trying to do with it, and he just took it on his own to go out there and get it for me. That's crazy, ain't it, man? I know you probably think I'm bullshitting you, dude, but I tell everybody the same thing, man. If you've been out there as long as I have, I promise you'll see something. But, it ain't about me trying to make you believe it or anybody believe it. I really, at this point, from what I've been through and the ridicule I've been with,
right,
since this has all happened, I don't even care, Paul. It ain't about that. It's about actually my big thing is I want to learn more about them and their habits, and I want to learn as much as I can about them because I want to be aware if there's something I need to know about. And I really, be honest with you, I want to keep them as suppressed as I can because I think the government is capable of some nasty stuff, man, and I think they would do them harm. I really do. And I just couldn't. And if I was to let the wrong people know what's going on out there, I think that's what would happen. And I would have that on my conscience, and I didn't want that. So I try to keep everybody out of there, I really
right,
do.
yeah. I understand.
So.
All right, man.
I call it the magic woods, That's where I go to get my, I don't get along with humans too well, man. I go out there and just feel fine. I mean, it's crazy, man. But anyways, yeah, that's about the sum of it, man. I mean, I realized that, they're here right amongst us, man, and just about everywhere I went in this state, 5 different counties. I always Google that county to see if there's any sightings, and just about every county I've been to, if I went specifically to look for these creatures, I found them. I found evidence of their existence.
That's pretty incredible. That's a great gift to have. So,
well, I think that they're very intelligent, and I think they got a very, very strong sense of perception. I mean, a sense of being able to detect a ill fate of somebody that's going to harm them.
Right.
I think they know if there's a bad apple in the bunch. I know they know what a gun is. That's why I've always, obliged them with the courtesy of not bringing one. I don't think I've only tried pictures and stuff with them, a couple times, and I didn't get very good results out of it both times. They growled at me and stated their distance, and I felt like I was doing something that I shouldn't have never done to start with. As far as trying to film them, I should have been satisfied with what was going on, and just feel blessed that I was being able to encounter what I was encountering without any kind of, being bound on a milk carton,
Right. And which, happens. Or you hear about encounters like yours that go very well, and then you hear about the opposite.
Yeah. I've had the opposite.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. In War Trace, Tennessee, I got chased off of a farm in War Trace, Tennessee, and when I left the property, they chased me out of there. One was on one side of the highway and another one on the other side of the highway, and they chased me till they was content with how far I was away from their domain. Yeah, it totally terrified me. I ran so hard, man, I got tired, and when I sat down on a guardrail on the side of the road there to catch my breath, one of them threw a rock and hit the guardrail right up underneath my butt, man. And instantly, I got the feeling to keep walking. But I was terrified on that one.
Well, I have to.
Terrified.
I have to ask you your opinion. I mean, I hate to coin a phrase from anyone else, but I mean, what do you think is going on? I mean, what's your opinion on where these things come from or what they are, or what they.
I know a lot of people. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I know a lot of people's got their theory on what they are and where they come from. That was one of my biggest, desires, about them, was where they're from, what they are, their purpose, everything. And the best is broken down to me. I'm not a very religious man. I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not big on religion. But this, a Choctaw minister broke it down to me in the Bible. They've been around since they were created the same week we were. They're another creature, just like all the other millions of creatures that God, that he put on this earth. They're supposedly when he made these creatures, his intention for them was to be the protector of the forest. And if you'll talk to any Native American Indian in the United States, every single one of them will tell you that that's what their purpose is. Every single tribe in the United States has a different name for them, and it's such a part of their culture that it's almost it's a part of their culture. Sasquatch. They've been with them. They know more about their existence than we will ever know, and that's why when I really wanted to know as much as I could about them, and I sought this minister that was he was also Indian, and he was Indian. He was also a Bigfoot researcher. So I put my trust that he's going to tell me to the best of his knowledge what it is, and with that, and him breaking it down and showing me in the Bible, that that they were created, that he created them, and it's not really saying, hey, God created Sasquatch. You have to read the certain part of this Bible, and you have to, understand it to know what they're talking about, and then once you do all of that and it comes together, oh yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Right. Yeah, there's been a lot of theories on the Bible and the creation of these things, and even I know you've heard the word Nephilim before. Yeah. I don't know. It's fascinating. I've never seen. I've never seen one. I want to, or I think I do. I don't know where I stand with a lot of it. I know that I can't discount the hundreds of years of witnesses and the thousands of witness testimonies from everyone from your average Joe to doctors, police officers, conservation officers, biologists. There's thousands, and they're literally hundreds.
37,000 a day, something like that.
Yeah. It's something.
Well, here's the way I look at that, Paul. Out of 37,000 people, if just one was a credible, very credible, real sighting, you got something.
Right.
You got something.
Yeah.
If just one of them is legit and true, what more do you need?
Well, it's like I was speaking with someone the other night that is a highly regarded researcher in her field, and she made it very clear. People go to prison on witness testimony. You can go into any court of law, and on witness testimony alone, you can be sentenced to prison for murder or robbery, whatever. So why don't they allow witness testimony for some of the things that that is kind of like not naturally happening? It's pretty amazing. But man, I tell you, it's incredible some of the stories you're telling me, and
Paul, I never would have dreamed this in a million years, man. It's just something I never ever would have thought of, man. But since the first day though, it's pretty much took over my spare time.
Oh yeah, it gets in your system.
If I'm not at work, man, I was doing regarding the Sasquatch.
Right. Well,
it's nuts, man, but it just how it happened, dude. And I'm not bothered by it. I don't.
For some reason, it happens to everyone that way. But man, I know you're hesitant to talk to anybody, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you talking to me about it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to talk to somebody that, that can really sit there and listen to you and believe every word you're saying, or the possibility that everything you're saying is true, and give you that benefit of the doubt, instead of sitting there thinking you're nuts the whole time,
No, that's not what I want to do here.
Yeah. I know that. I know that.
Everybody, I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's, we have enough trouble on this planet as it is,
Yeah. All I can tell you, Paul, is what happened to me. That's all I can tell you.
Right.
And I know that all the things that's happened to me is correlated with everything I've studied. So, I guess it's evident that what I'm seeing is the same thing everybody else is seeing.
Right.
But I know I've seen three. I think I've seen three different types. I think I've seen three different types of them. Like I said, the most aggressive ones was the big black ones I ran into in Wartrace, Tennessee.
Right.
But these ones these ones here, like I said, I just think they've just gotten familiar with me, and and they've accepted me and learned that I'm probably about as close to one of them as you could get, as far as being, not a threat to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It really actually told you the opposite, man. I would do anything to protect them. I wish the government would acknowledge them. I think the public needs to know about them. And let you make your own decision whether you want to go camping in a federal park or not. I do realize that when you do acknowledge them, and the people do realize that these things exist in the woods, yeah, I think the attendance to state parks and the tourism is going to go to zero. But who cares? As long as you're saving, and I think these Sasquatch have figured out, over the years. That's why, they're so thick in state parks. I think it's because they realize that it's a no-gun domain, and that's a safe haven for them. So they stay in these parks and stuff where there's no guns allowed.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And I also think that they use creeks and rivers as, thoroughways. And I know for a fact they use these TVA power lines as a thoroughway because I've seen them with my own eyes, man. And I've seen the tracks. I know that's what they use that utility trail for, to get different places.
Right.
Without being seen, because those power lines run out in the middle of nowhere. So they can travel those, and get to different places without being seen. Well, I think that's their biggest thing, I think, is they got a horrible fear of us. Because I think they have stood back for thousands of years, Paul, and watched us act like idiots and pretty much self-destruct on this earth, and that's not what they're about. They're here to protect them.
Well, they've seen some things.
They're more scared of us than we are of them.
Yeah, that's why I said they've seen some things, then haven't they? If they've watched us.
Yeah. I think they really, observed our ability and what we're capable of. And I think they're really, scared of us. And I think one of the main mistakes they can make is that a human being see them. Right.
Well, man, I like I said, I thank you so much for coming on and telling your story.
Thank you, man.
I can't wait to hear from you again, and I know you're going to continue your research.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, man.
You know how to contact me. So just feel free anytime.
Man. I will, Paul. Thank you so much, man, and good luck with your show, man. I hope it's a hit, man.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a hit. I think I have like 5 friends, and some of my family might listen. But other than that,
you got to start somewhere. I'm gonna start listening.
All right. Well, I do have some pretty interesting. Like I said, I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of researchers in several different fields, and I'm gonna, they're gonna come on and talk and give their side of the story. So, yeah, just keep listening, man.
That's one of the things that's one of the things that I really wanted to do. I wanted to get, into the Sasquatch community with other people, and converse, with people and learn their sides of stuff, because since I've been doing this, it's been neat.
Right. No, it's about networking and getting with a community that that doesn't judge each other and has an open mind, and you can listen to. Yeah. Everybody has a theory. I mean, because
nobody. I think they're like.
No, I was going to say nobody knows really what's going on with any of this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm talking about UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, the afterlife, Loch Ness monster. But I know all I can tell you. And I had been a police officer for 15 years. I've been a criminal investigator. I have been a private investigator.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is witness statements and witness testimony counts for so much, and something's going on. I mean, whether I don't know what people are seeing myself, but I know when they're telling me the truth. I know when they're seeing something that's
I know what they're seeing.
Upset them. So
I know exactly what they're seeing.
All right,
I know what they're seeing, and we'll be seeing many more of them. They're getting more populated every day.
I'm gonna, like I said, we're gonna stay in touch. I think we're close by, and I definitely want to hear from you again, man. And
sure, man.
Man, you are welcome to come on anytime.
Okay, thank you so much, Paul.
All right, thank you, Philip. Thanks again to Philip for coming on the Mysterious Huntsman. That was an amazing account. And remember, if you would like to be a guest on the Mysterious Huntsman podcast, send me a message on my Facebook page, or you can email me at mysteriousHuntsman@gmail.com. All right, thanks, guys, and we will see you next week.